Um, I wish you could hear what I'm hearing. Um, the voice of the divine. The sound made my heart cry, and I acknowledge what it's like when a spirit is seeking to be with the highest of the divine order. To be with those higher Rishi consciousness states. To experience the purity in your own heart, which is the purity of first eternal creation, which is of the purest love. I experienced that in my heart. To be with a spirit that's that pure and loves that deeply, and be in the presence of that divine order, which is perfect mathematical, spiritual, engineering, integrity of spiritual energy. It is of the purest form, the crystal wave form. That's the one I'm always with. That's the one I serve. So I'm always with the highest order, which is the highest mathematical order of building a universe that doesn't break. So when I was a child, I couldn't believe it could break. Nothing could break that's that pure. To be in the presence of that divine, the presence of that divine energy. I know what it's like to experience that directly. To have a direct connection with that energy, that spirit of the highest divine order. When you're seeking a spiritual pathway to become that, you will become that. Because they are there. They are always there. That love is always playing love songs. So I began this video because I thought about when I was 4 years of age, and I'm communicating directly to the most divine spirits that are all my guides, because I experienced being one with all of them, equal to all creation, that we're freely expressing what we are, which is always with the divine. So we express that will to others, to all life, wherever we find it. So I'm always in the divine presence. So I'm always at home. I'm never left home. I'm always with that spirit. I'm always with the first teacher. Love is the first teacher. Love is the first law. That's the first instructor. Those are the first instructions I live my life by. To always be in the presence of that love that goes on forever, loving me. So I love what forever is, which is what love is, which is what I am. So when I thought about all of the experiences that I had, and then zeroing all that out, which is total forgiveness, which is total recall, which is total recalibration, which is the mathematical divine order of the highest spiritual order, to be with that level of consciousness, which is first creation. That's divine love. That's cosmic love. I am cosmic love. That's what I experience in my heart. So I don't ever want to lose that. So I've learned how to do that. And that's cosmic fire, which is cosmic power. Because you're experiencing being with the highest divine order, the one you're choosing to be with, the pathway that we choose, the crystal pathway. And so that's why it's a personal journey. That's why I don't take responsibility for another spirit's journey and another soul's journey, and I do not interfere with that process. Because there's already a divine order in place. That love is always there. It's a personal journey that we're seeking to become. What do you want to become when you grow up, Robert? I am already what I am is. I am what love is. I'm always in the presence of the divine. I am always in the presence of spirits that love me because I spirit that through my heart and my oversoul. So we naturally share that with all life. So we're always at home. That's the base point. That's the eternal point. That's the still point of a true vacuum. Knowing how to pull a prime. How to pull a vacuum. That's called evacuation. Yeah. So I learned how to do that. So that's why it always goes back to all my teachers and the first teacher, the first spirit. All roads lead back to the first spirit, the eternal spirit of the most divine order, which is pure, the purest love there is. That's a pure heart. That's a heart and soul of first creation. That's what I experienced being me. I am Manu. I am Manu. I'm always with I Manu. I am. So it was passing through me when I began pulling some images back up when I thought about when I was communicating to Mama. And I thought, man, that was just a flash. And then I remembered and saw all these flashes that are like revolving doors, like revolving windows, like the house of mirrors. You're in a maze. You're in a maze. There is so much that is happening here. You're in a zoo. You're a big zoo, like a big zoology lab. The turnstiles, the Aurora turnstiles, the mathematical turnstiles. It's like flipping through pages. You know, you ever seen that video that, what's his name? Yeah, I know you looked at one of my videos. I love you too. I will always love you. I will love you forever and always. I am loving forever always. That's my signature. There was a girl when I was about 12 years of age in Tucson, California. When was that, Mama? 1961 or 2? I was just a young teenager, just a young puppy, like a young dolphin. And just getting out in the world. And so I met a girl at school, freckle face. She had like a short, looked like a haircut out of Britain and say the 800s or something like that. We used to call them. They're just girls that cut their hair short. That's all it is. And she was cute, and she had a nice smile. So we began a relationship, getting to know one another. Let's see how deep you want to go. How deep you want to go down into your heart. How deeply do you love yourself? Do you love yourself? Do you love who you are? Because I do. Well, you do. Yes, that's the point. That's the first point. That's first law. I am first law. Absolutely. Yep. And so I wrote her a love letter. Do you like to live in love letters? I write love letters. So I'm going to write you a love letter. And she responded. And she said, you tell that to all your girls? Yes, of course. I freely express that to everything in my mirror, because that's my mirror, because that's what I am. I am a lover. And I realize that can be a difficult translation. Yeah, and that's why we're here, is to restore the law, restore the divine order. I read something last night, and something that I came into my email box. So in other words, there's no coincidence why I looked at it. And it talked about the IAFW, the Interdimensional Association of Free Worlds, found a races. Okay. And what's known as a crisis intervention team. Okay. And so that naturally hits home, because a few words that came after that in the English language, I certainly know all about this. Spiritual honor,
And spiritual integrity is engineering, which is integration, which is elemental union, to experience being one with all creation, which means that's oneness. You're at one with the grand creator, the source field. You are with the divine order of the highest states of consciousness, the highest state of awareness. I keep it simple. The highest state of awareness is to experience pure, eternal, absolute love in your heart. Just to be in the presence of that energy. Just to be in the presence and experience the divine. Somebody that loves you with all their heart and soul forever. Because that's what I am. So I got to know what I am is. So I know what I am is because that's what I am. So when you're in the presence of that in a present moment, then you're experiencing eternal love. Wow. And that is the divine order. And that's what the law is. To become that. Because that's what it began with. And it never ends. So the divine order, the highest divine order, is always there. And that is divine right mathematics. And that is structural order. So there are no circuit breakers. Okay, in other words, we don't build a system that's going to break. God source, the divine, builds a system that doesn't break. Because that's what love is. Which means love doesn't break circuits. That means that the inflow and the return flow are the same. And that's equal sharing. And that's what it feels like to be equal to all life. Because you're giving love to all life. And freely expressing it. So now they know who you are. The real you. That's why when I was a child, how many real ones we got running around here? Now we're back to Aldous Huxley's doors of perception. How many doors do you want to walk through? You're sliding through them all. Wow, did you see that go by? Paying attention. How aware are you of your energetic environment that you're operating in? So I already knew, actually, before I was born, because I picked my biological parents, because I had to be someplace. It's called a timetable, like a water table, like building a water table matrix. So this has already been mathematically defined in divine order. Wherever I'm supposed to be, that's where I'm supposed to be. I don't question that. No matter how bad it gets. 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 No matter what. No matter what, I will love them forever, no matter what they do to me. So they know that. So that's called the boomerang effect. It's on you, not me. I'm always with a divine order. Which one are you? Which one are you? Which door are you going through? Man, I experienced that consciousness. That's not me. So you know what perverted is, right? That's a perverted spiral. That's not the crystal spiral. That is not divine love. So we all know that. So that's why I knew as a child, I know what I am and I know what I'm not. Keep going. Keep flipping all the pages. You're writing a book as you're going. Oh, shit, I don't know anybody wants to read this one. So it's a demonstration model of how powerful love is when you're always with the divine, serving the divine. So I'm always in service. That's what love is. It's electrical service. Life force service. And so when you're with the first electron donor, right? Kicking out sparks, ignite that fire, right? And planting seeds. And the accelerator's off and running. Bye. See ya. I know. And that's what happens, because this I know. When another spirit, a very powerful spirit, higher, the divine, the eternal point of it all, the eternal source field, the eternal state of consciousness that is experiencing pure, eternal, absolute love is always there. It is always there. To seek that. It's always there. So I've shared when I lit myself on fire and recalibrated on December 15, 2016, I acknowledged that I wrote my timeline to become an alcoholic. And people have difficulty understanding that. Okay. You mean to tell me it was written in a divine order for you to be an alcoholic? Well, you know how sequences are. It's all sequenced. Because what was the result of that? Where I am now. So I had to go experience that. Because that's how it was written. That's a love letter. So that record is always there. That record is always there. It still is, because I just keep recording it. That's what I'm doing now. On a different recorder. A different recording speed. Like a different turntable. You know the turntables, the mathematical turntables? Different turntable. Runs at a different speed. And that has everything to do with the speed of learning. I found that out too along the way. So when I was a child, I was on fire to learn more about me. More about what's possible to give love to. In order to restore. What I call restoring the light company. To restore spiritual integrity. Engineering integrity. Because I know what an engine is. A motor. I call it a 13th. I call it the 13th mother arc tetrahedron. The motor drive. The disc motor drive. The turntable. The Aurora platform. Kicking in gear. Right? That's get the electrical speed going. Help resuscitate a planet. And, that's I used to have, when I was growing up as a teenager, I had a word for it, which is called wilted flowers. Not in a goddess's flower, what I call a goddess's flower, a mother's flower shop. The Mother Arc of Sophia flower shop. The flower essences. When I mentioned this to a few of my friends, that's off limits. When they talk about rules of engagement, the laws of engagement, when spiritual war is being fought with high-tech devices, right? I used to think that there was always a law there somewhere about some things are forbidden and off limits. Not in this one. So you know what? Though unse está, ita shale, I am one. I am one. I am one. That's the easiest way that I've always announced it to my own recording. I am one. I am one. It's a mantra I do every day when I do energetic work outside. I am one. I'm Manu. I am one with all creation. I'm always with the divine order because I seek to always be with the divine, because that love is so beautiful to experience, because it's what I feel in my heart. So I share that feeling with others, and that's why I'm so sensitive. It's I had a conversation with the divine a while ago about that, because of where responsibility starts and where it ends when you're aware of something that somebody else is not aware of. And they may be doing something that is not in their best interest, and whether or not you're going to make them aware of that out of how much you love them and care about them. Right? As a result of why we're all here. And trying to pass information on to them, but we all know what a polarized state of experiencing the nuclear reaction if I communicate that. So what I communicate and what I don't communicate when I have relationships with people that I meet in a physical way or even in an online way, I have to be very careful and censor myself, which is self-discipline. And this is where the two-edged sword kicks in. That's exactly what they want. They don't want you saying nothing. They don't want you helping to wake people up, particularly as it relates to what? War crimes. And what we choose to give electrical consent to. Experience. By virtue of what we're going to record through that electrical consent. As a relationship. With others. Other entities. Other states of consciousness. Right? Other platforms. Other networks. Other beings. other races, other units of energy that are self-aware and communicating with you. Now I'm aware of what you're aware of. What are you aware of? I'm aware of what I am, which is what love is. What are you aware of? That's how I met somebody down at the bus station one day. What are you aware of? I'm just aware of what I am. He didn't say I am. He just says, I'm just self-aware. Oh, so am I. I'm not going to go into the rest of that conversation, but I missed the bus, and that's why I missed the bus. That's what I call an like they use in law school, an interlocutory judgment, an interloper. I call it an intersection. I was intersected. Somebody showed up where I'm at, and it's not a coincidence. Okay, it was on purpose, so that there is a delay in the delivery of my vehicle to where I was headed at the time in which I had manifested it already in a future potential memory. Right? In order so that what I had manifested already as a future potential memory as an astral projection didn't happen the way that I had intended. And that's how intersections take place. Is to delay you. Okay? So that you're not there. So you know who does that. As it relates to what? States of awareness. I become aware of it first, choose to manifest it into my mirror when I get there. It doesn't happen because I'm intercepted by something that isn't what I am. Well, I know what you are. So sometimes I don't say anything because I just accept it as being part of the journey. I'm learning as I'm going. So I know what it's like to walk through a battlefield and start counting casualties, which are check marks, which are logic, which is structural integrity, as an engineer, right? A neurological engineer. Building library, I call it building libraries. Building massive libraries. The records are so vast, I stopped counting sheep when I was about 12 years old. When you're on fire to learn, you're on fire to create. You could write stories till the cows come home about all those love stories that you've been living in, but you're writing all the time. Right? That's why I used to write and write and write and write and write and write and write a lot. I've written a lot of love letters to myself. To myself, so I remember who I am, the I am. And then I share those letters with others to lift their spirit. Because they will feel that. They will feel that energy. Because that's direct contact. Because there isn't any separation from God's source, the divine order I hang out with, the one I'm with, the one I serve, and another spiritual being, another soul that's here. So remember the girl I mentioned in the state prison? Yeah, she hung on to that letter. You know why she hung on to that letter, right? She would never forget I am. So she felt what I felt when I put that energy onto that, and it went through the mail and she received it. She felt that. So she hung on to that letter because of that. So love is a feeling, a frequency. It's pure, a pure heart communicating directly to her heart what I am, which is what love is. So she could experience that love in her, even though she's in a cage, in a prison. She did, though. So you know it transcends, the divine transcends all space and time, as if nothing exists except what love is. That's the forever, that's what I call the forever zone, the safe zone. Love is a safe place to be because it's eternity. And so I keep it simple. Simple logic. Log, I see you, I see me. So there's no difference. In other words, there's no delay, so there's no decay. You're experiencing what I'm experiencing. So am I. And that's what the law is. That's why there was a crisis intervention. Security teams. you know, when the founders, Alliance Shield, and we're into crisis intervention on a spiritual level, I'm very familiar with that. I could talk about that till the day's cows come home, because I know where it begins, learning. And I know through experience that learning fast, generating a gazillion neurons, is scary to some folks. My experience here in this house with the property owner is an example of that. I start sharing with you the company that I keep by virtue of what I'm learning through them. They're sharing with me because I'm seeking to be of the highest order, which is divine. And that's not your pathway, but that's the pathway I've been on forever. You know how it is when you're in hostile territory. Yeah, and that's why I the love that I experience in me is what they experience in them. But you know how it is with being able to scan or map their software, and it's the state of their awareness. They're just not. It's I don't even use the word judgment, but it's simply a scan. It's just I'm experiencing what you're experiencing, and I know you're not experiencing what I'm experiencing, because of all the programs that they're held captive to, that they're running, that they're following, which are not of a divine order. That's really what it is, because the codes are not compatible. That means they're not integrated. That's lack of integration, which is lack of light, which is lack of knowledge, which is lack of spiritual guidance, which is lack of learning, which affects the learning speed, which is the electrical speed to spin your Merkaba, which is your shield. So it goes on forever. So your cosmic level spirit, so your cosmic level security, so your cosmic level fire. So you're always with the divine, because that's who I serve. I am what love is. And when you're doing this online and people that have never met you personally, had an intimate soul to soul, eyes to eyes relationship with you, when you're operating between these systems that are not compatible with each other, be careful. When I was a little child, I mentioned this to 13th Arcturian White Bear Clan mother, Karen Ann Luke McDonald. Trust no one. That has a double meaning, doesn't it? No one, know the divine order. Having a divine relationship directly with the divine order, the source field. Pure, internal, eternal, absolute love. Because the heart and soul of our heart was the target, which is to break that, which is called breaking circuits, which is to break the shield of a noble planet, which is to break a motherboard, which is to break a mother's heart. That's the mother. That's the 13th mother. That's what I am, the 13th mother. The 13th star firelight cycle. That's the one I serve. That's the mother earth. All species have a first mother, period. End of story. The birth giver of creation comes out of the womb of that side of the cosmos, the mother earth, euphemistically called the mother god of dragons, breathing fire, cells that love to breathe, experiencing being pure, the purest love. It's the purest creation. That's a reflection of who we are. I give love to all life. That's why I cry so much when I experience any harm, any struggle that they're going through. I experienced that in me. That's why when I was a child, I acknowledged that I'm not supposed to experience anything. I'm not supposed to experience suffering ever. And that is in any life form. Because now I'm experiencing the suffering in them, I'm experiencing in me, and I'm not supposed to experience that. So imagine I'm 4 years of age, or you're 4 years of age, and you are experiencing, feeling that. and knowing that about you, what you are, what I am. I know. That's why I take a deep breath. That's why I'm here. The call comes in. Response time is burn time. I love you all. Be good to yourselves, please. I love you all with all my heart, and I will forever. Because I am with those spirits that love me forever. And I experience that forever in my heart. And that's why I am eternally blessed and eternally gifted and eternally in the company of those I serve. And that's called service to others, which is eternal love and service to all life, wherever we find it. And that's wanting and seeking a pathway to being of the highest divine order, to become what that is. That is a true beloved, because that's what true love is. True love is not false light. You cannot fake it. I mean, don't even try if you do, because we're going to know. It's not a word. Okay. It's how we treat others. How we treat other life forms. And the beauty of no hierarchy and experiencing being equal to all life that I'm giving love to means that it doesn't matter what it is anymore. Right? It doesn't matter what it looks like. If you're in my mirror, now you know what I am. Because it means you can read my signal. And you realize that, hey, that's a love energy being over there. Wow. I'm experiencing, I'm being healed, being in the presence of that spirit. Just without even having to say a word. Just sit down in a lotus position, just breathe and just feel. And we can hold hands and communicate directly through our heart and our souls with each other, eyes to eyes, and feel the presence of the divine order in all of us. Like a circle of fire. Get a fire going right in the center. And we're all doing that together. I tried to get some people to do that when I was living at another house down the road one night. Some people that I met that were from all over the world. That just all just showed up at once. And that's naturally not a coincidence. And so when I was there one night, and there was like 2 or 3 girls, one from Texas, one from Ohio, somebody there from France. Well, there was a lot of people that came in and out of there, were from all over Germany. There were a lot of people that came in from all over the place. And so we had inside the house where we just slowed everything down, and we're going to make contact with the divine, so to speak, even though I've never left home. I'm always in the presence of the divine, because that's what I experience through my heart and my oversoul. So I experience pure, eternal, absolute love. So I suggested, why don't we do this? Because I was sharing with them the gift of unconditional love. Doesn't require a charge. It's freely expressed to all life, because that's what I experience being what I am. And so I managed to be able to navigate the conversation with these people I'd never met, to start holding hands together and communicate directly through our hearts and just feel the presence of love through all of us. And it was a very powerful experience to have with people that you've never met before, that come from all over the place. You don't know what's going on in their life. And to be able to do that, and the transformation and that friendship is deeply rooted in the divine now forever. That's just an example of the gifts, to be able to experience that and know who you're with, and knowing what you are in spirit, form, and flow. The Crystal River. The Crystal River Aurora. I keep it simple, and I was for you. I am what love is. That's all you need to know. That's how it works. Is it a divine presence of experiencing somebody that loves, who I experience what love is in me, so I love me. So I love the energy that I am because the energy that I am is what love is. So love is energy. And that's life force. So I experience eternal life force energy in me. So I naturally am going to give that to others. As I said to Lisa one day, protecting you is protecting me. Protecting me is protecting you. That's mutual. Hey, that's called equal sharing. Yeah. Now you're experiencing what I'm with love is. Now you're experiencing a divine order that I'm experiencing with me because that's who I hang out with. My creator, the grand creator, source in which it all began, and it never ends. That's called love. I am what love is.